of October 2024. Welcome my fellow councillors. Welcome my council officers and CEO and all of you that will be watching out there remotely. Welcome. I'll call on each councillor, item 2, to ask them verbally that they can see and hear the proceedings. Councillor Holcomb.
I can hear the proceedings and see all councillors and council officers.
Councillor Teague.
I can hear the proceedings and see all councillors and council officers.
And Councillor Webb.
I can hear the proceedings and see all councillors and council officers.
And I can hear the proceedings and see all councillors and council officers too. Madam CEO, apologies.
We have apologies from Councillor Slatton.
Thank you. Item 4, statement of commitment. I'll read the statement of commitment and then I'll call on each councillor to confirm their commitment. As councillors of the Mansfield Shire, we are committed to ensuring our behaviour meets the standards set by the Mansfield Shire Councillor Code of Conduct and Councillor Charter. We will, at all times, faithfully represent and uphold the trust placed in us by the community. Councillor Holcomb.
I confirm my commitment, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Councillor Teague.
Yeah, I confirm my commitment, Mr. Mayor.
Councillor Webb.
I confirm my commitment, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. And I also confirm my commitment. Item 5, the acknowledgement of country. Deputy Mayor.
Thanks, Mr. Mayor. Our meeting is being held on the traditional lands of the Tumbarong people. We wish to acknowledge them as the traditional custodians and pay our respects to the elders past and present. We extend that respect to all members of our community.
Thank you. The disclosure of conflicts of interest. I'll ask on each councillor to disclose whether they have a conflict of interest to enter any agenda item tonight. Councillor Holcomb.
No conflicts, Mr. Mayor.
Councillor Teague.
I have no conflicts in relation to tonight's agenda, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Councillor Webb.
No conflicts in relation to tonight's agenda. Thanks, Mr. Mayor.
And I also have no conflicts of interest in relation to any agenda item tonight. Confirmation of minutes. There's a recommendation before you, councillors. Councillor Holcomb.
Thanks, Mr. Mayor, that the minutes of the Mansfield Shire Council meetings held on the 17th of September 2024 and 25 and 25th of September 2024 be confirmed in an accurate record.
Thank you. Seconder, Councillor Teague. All those in favour of the motion? And motion is passed. Thank you. Item 8, representations. I believe there are none tonight. 9, notices of motion, none. Item 10, reports from council appointed representatives. The committee, Australia Day Awards Committee, has not met. The Mansfield Shire CEO Employment Matters Committee has not met since the last meeting. Goulburn Murray Climate Alliance, I believe, has not met.
Has not met, Mr. Mayor.
Hume Regional Local Government Network, we met last week and basically the CEOs discussed their business, which was further advocacy on planning and keeping it country, and also advocacy on waste issues such as FOGO and generally waste. At that time, the CEOs were having their meeting. Mayors from the Hume region had a meeting, and out of that, I think there were about 80% of the mayors were leaving. So it was basically what they had learnt in their time and passed on to us. Also, the advocacy continues from the mayors to have more autonomy in our planning decisions in the country, in the city. Mansfield Shire Audit and Risk Committee has not met. Municipal Association of Victoria has not met, and the Rural Councils of Victoria has not met. I have a recommendation, councillors. Councillor Holcomb.
Thanks, Mr. Mayor. The council note the verbal reports provided by councillors in relation to their representation on external committees.
Thanks, Councillor Holcomb. Councillor Teague, thank you very much. seconding that. All those in favour of the motion? Motion is carried. Item 12 is officer reports, and item 12.1 is the Chief Executive Officer's report. Madam CEO. Councillors, have you got any questions? CEO? In that case, there's a recommendation on the page. Councillor Holcomb.
Council received a notice, Chief Executive Officer's report for the period 1st of September 24 to 30 September 24.
Thanks, Councillor. Seconder, Councillor Webb. And anyone want to speak to the motion? Yeah.
Madam CEO, this is my last viewing of your report. Very sad moment. I just want to say that I think this report is really important. And for information it gives us as councillors, I think not to read it, we're not doing our job as councillors if we don't. Yeah, I just think it's a really important report. It's concise. It doesn't really take that long to read, particularly once you get used to it. So there's no excuse for councillors not to read it. And it gives us a far broader view of the organisation, I think, in terms of what's going on. So I'm very sorry to not read it anymore.
Well, you will get to read it.
You actually can read it every month because it's a public document.
Oh, is it? Oh, right. I might not.
Any other councillor want to speak to the motion or against the motion? In that case, I'll put this motion to a vote. All those in favour? The motion is carried. Item 12.2.1, the EV charger licence agreement with MK Solutions. The purpose of this agenda item is to seek council endorsement to enter into a licence agreement for a single car park space at the Mansfield Shire depot at Laytons Road for the use of an electronic vehicle charging station by Melbourne Cleaning Solutions on council's public amenities clearing. Council's public amenities cleaning contractor. So that's the intent. Councillors, have got any questions? Councillor Tian.
Ms. Crane, I take it the charger has been installed already. Is that correct?
Yes, through you, Mr. Mayor, that is correct. The cleaning contractor has been using a electric vehicle for a few months now.
Yeah, and it's been charged at the
Yep.
council depot. So this is pretty much a formality if we want them to continue to use this.
Yes.
Can you just explain why this has come to council now, but it's already up and running?
Yeah, so through you, Mr. That's a very good question. The contractor made the decision to purchase an electric vehicle and then had to find a way to charge it locally, which was there's public charging stations, which are fine, but wanted that secure solution. And it seems a reasonable from a cost benefit analysis for council's perspective. Officers felt like it wasn't a high risk factor. Worst case scenario, if we didn't enter into a lease, we have an EV charger installed at the depot. Recognising they're using it at the moment. The longer term for us in terms of why we let them start doing it before they had a lease in place, and it will be retrospectively charged, just to be clear, they won't be getting it for nothing up until now. There is an opportunity as well. We have solar panels on the depot, and should we eventually get to the point where there's batteries, that will actually be able to, the costs will be reduced to council, but we'll be able to still recover the same income because we'll be paying for it in a different way. So that's actually an opportunity to increase the income we have from that rather than necessarily just covering our costs. So it seemed an opportunity too good to be missed, really, to get that EV option at the depot.
Okay, and if in the future that council did happen to purchase an EV vehicle, we'd be able to use that charger as well. Is that, it's not part of this agreement, but I'm sure that would be something that could be looked at down the track.
It may, sorry, through you, Mr. Mayor, it may depend on the vehicle and charger compatibility. So I think we'd need to confirm.
Right, okay.
Yeah, it wouldn't be automatic, but yeah, we'd certainly, something we'd look at, yeah.
This one I think is an MG.
It is.
It is.
Right.
Yeah, it
Thanks,
is.
guys.
And
Off
if I could just, I'll just clarify that it's the agreement to have, to lease the space is what's being bought. So
Yeah.
we did give approval for the infrastructure to go in with the understanding that this license, not lease, sorry, the license would have to come to council for approval. So obviously it was at their risk.
And MK have been cleaning for Melbourne Cleaning Solutions, been cleaning for council for quite a while now, and they're doing quite a good job. But what would happen if they didn't get the cleaning contract when it's up for renewal?
Yeah, so through you, Mr. Mayor, it would mean that they've got the right in, as any license does, to exit the license if they want to, and we're left with the infrastructure that is an EV charger on our site that they've paid to install. So
Okay.
the worst case is we have an EV charger on site that we're able to use for something else.
Okay, yep.
Councillors, any other questions? In that case, James, councillor first.
Yep. Thanks, Mr. Mayor. I'd like to move that council move the recommendation, which is on page 9 of 20 on the agenda item, 5 points.
Which one? Oh, councillor Holden.
I'll second that.
Okay. Okay, would any councillor like to speak to this motion? Councillor Tian?
Yeah, I congratulate the staff on this agreement. I think it's a really good thing. It sort of fits in well with our climate action plan, and it brings an EV charger to the Shire free of charge. In fact, we're actually making money out of this one as well too, like our other one in back of Food Works. So I think it's a good thing. So well done to all concerned, and hopefully we have a good continued relationship with Melbourne Cleaning Services.
Thank you. Seconder, do you want to speak to the motion?
No.
Would anyone else like to speak to the motion or against the motion?
Nope.
In that case, I'll put the motion to a vote. All those in favour of the motion? And the motion is carried. Item 12.3.1, the council Christmas function early office closure. And the responsible officer is our Executive Manager of People, Communications and Governance, Ms. Schneider. And the purpose of this, as is every year we do this, is to endorse the early closure of council's offices and identified services on Friday, the 29th of November at 2024 at 12:30 p.m. so that the council staff may attend council's Christmas function. Councillors, any questions? Councillor Holcomb.
Yeah, so why the 29th of November? Is that seem a bit early for Christmas function or?
Yeah, we voted a bit earlier this year because we've got a few staff from the away later on in December. We want to make sure we have more staff available.
Through you, Ms. Merriman, we also need to schedule it around the community Christmas picnic. So the community Christmas picnic is on the 6th, which is probably when we would have done. I think I'm pretty sure it's the 6th. Yeah. So we had to sort of schedule it earlier to make sure that, we're able to organise that.
Yep.
Has any other councillor got any questions? Oh, Councillor Holcomb? You have your hand up?
I was just going to move the motion.
Oh, okay. No worries.
Just want to move the meeting along.
Yeah, go for it.
The council endorses the closure of its offices, including the main office, community services, youth and family services, visitor information centre, library and field service depot for a period between 12:30 p.m. and 5 p.m. on Friday, 29th of November 24.
Thank you. You got a seconder? Councillor Webb? Does anyone want to speak for or against the motion? In that case, I'll put the motion to a vote. Those in favour? Motion is carried. Right, item 12.4.1, the annual report will be addressed at a special meeting of council on October the 23rd at 0900 hours. The reason for that is the VAGO report has not come through as promised.
That's correct. We're still awaiting the closing report, which
Yeah.
I understand is expected any day.
Yep, so not council's problem, it's VAGO again have not come through and done their audit on time. Is that correct, CEO?
Look, the
I
audit.
don't want to put words in your.
Sorry,
mouth.
through Mr. Mayor. Probably fair to say it's, they have a process that they go
Yeah.
through.
Yeah, okay.
They are under a bit of pressure this year, I think, with the council elections and having to do everything a little bit earlier. But they did tell us they put on extra staff to try and get through the audit more quickly, and that certainly did happen. So we're just waiting for their closing report. We understand there's no material issues coming out of that, and we expect it any day.
Any day.
Beautiful. So as a governance perspective, do we have to move a motion to move this?
No, it was removed.
It's
It was
removed, okay.
Yeah, no, so it
I
wasn't.
didn't cross it out on mine.
In the published agenda, it was removed because we have an additional council.
Roger that,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
All right, that's
Just one question. So there's no issues that we're aware of that they're flagging that at all, so, right.
No. There was as part of the, through you, Mr. Mayor, as part of the audit, there was a couple of adjustments made primarily to the asset valuations. And so we've made those adjustments, we've reissued it to them. That sort of thing quite often happens as part of the audit. Nothing that is out of the ordinary. They've told us they'll be giving us, there's no material issues, and yeah, we're just waiting for the paperwork basically.
So that will be everyone that's watching, special meeting, which will be open to the public. It's not closed. October the 23rd at 0900. To talk about that. So item 12.4.2 is the carry forwards 2023-24. Responsible Officer, Coordinator, Financial Planning and Analysis, James Alcanaz. Welcome, James. Mr. Alcanaz, and Financial Accountant, Chintan Patel. Welcome. Thank you. Mr. Patel. The purpose of the report of the carry forwards is a report seeks a decision of council in relation to the recommended carry forward projects from 23-24. Councillor, any questions? Councillor Holton.
Yeah, just one question, Mr. Alcanaz, and this is my ignorance, I'm pretty sure. But the $210,000 for the flexible local transport solution program, what's that? Have I missed something about what? I didn't know anything about that, or so clearly missed something.
Yep, through you, Mr.
Yeah.
Mayor, your questions relating to the specific grant itself.
Yeah, what is it?
That's a good question. May I defer that through to Madam CEO, please?
So I'm not the only one that hasn't heard of it. I feel so bad.
And I might need some support from the general manager, but it is something that came through our engineering services area. And there's an opportunity that was offered by the Department of Transport. And we did have some difficulty trying to find some projects that fit the criteria for the program, but I think we were successful in the end with getting some shared paths included. So
I do believe,
yes. So it was one that came up very late in the financial year. There was, and there was a bit of toing and froing. There were some workshops that were held with the engineering services, senior manager now, engineering services, and I understand we've been able to take advantage of it to do a bit more shared path works than we would have otherwise been able to fund in our budget. So I don't think there's any additional projects, but it just means that we've got some funding towards it.
Right. So
yeah.
Am I then reading this correctly? So is that another that one plus the one above it, $310,000, which isn't in this budget either.
That's correct. They
Wow,
were-
this
they
is more
were-
free kicks than.
Yes, that's right, yeah.
Through you, Mr Mayor.
Yes,
that is
yeah.
indeed correct.
Yeah.
And so we haven't budgeted the corresponding spend
Yes.
either because they came so late, obviously after we delivered the budget that the council has adopted. But the net result is going to be zero to this council, this financial year.
This financial year, I get it.
Budget.
Yeah.
So as we spend the money on that particular grant, we'll realise the income at the same time.
Oh, I see.
So
Yeah,
the net result is zero.
zero. You're right.
No free kick.
I'll watch.
Sure. Found the application.
Oh, any other questions, councillors? Councillor Webb.
Thanks, Mr. Mayor. Just as a quick summary of the projects, just having a look through of them, it looks like most of them are being carried forward simply because it's an ongoing project, or sort of the works are contracted, ready to go. Is that correct?
Through you, Mr. Mayor, that is correct, Councillor Webb. These are projects that are ongoing that we thought we were going to, some of them potentially finalise them by the end of the financial year per our adopted budget. What eventuated in the preceding 2 months to the end of financial year, we didn't spend as much as we thought, so this is what was left over, I guess, and what we didn't spend that we'll spend this year.
And we'll resolve them obviously in the new financial year and close them out.
That's correct. That's the goal.
Great, thank you.
Oh, I've got one. Oh, sorry, have you got Councillor Teen, have you got a question?
Yeah, well, I have.
No, go for it.
Yeah, okay. I just, and I'm going to put you on the spot a bit here. You might need some assistance from someone else because I know you weren't here last year, but how does this compare the amount of carry forward we have in front of us here compared to last year?
Yep. So through you, Mr. Mayor, it's actually significantly less than what we had last year and presented to council for decision. In fact, last year it was a figure closer to $4.3 million compared to our total 1.3 here, plus the noted 2 grants that we mentioned in the second point of the recommendation. So yes, it's I guess a product of managing this continually, improving and sort of budgeting that more accurately. Not saying that we didn't budget it accurately previously, but we're getting better in time.
Yeah, no, that's good. That's what I specifically remember from the last couple of years, and I know there's been quite a few reasons for that, and probably one of them was the very wet couple of years we had prior to this, and projects took a while to get going. Maybe we're also getting a few less grants as well too, but it's good to see that it was a very big figure last year and looked a little bit alarming.
Through you, Mr. Mayor, there's been a big effort put on, particularly with the capital work side of things, to catch up. Yeah, and it does take time to resource that. There's always a bit of a lag when you get the funding in and then you've got to resource it. But yeah, I think the team have done an excellent job of pushing things through and you know, getting the projects delivered. So it's really pleasing.
I've got one last question. The public lighting, is that our transition to LED lighting that's ongoing?
Through, yes, that is correct, Mr. Mayor.
Thanks. Councillors. Councillor Holton. Yes. Yeah. That's what it's all about.
The council approved carry forward funds from 23-24 to the 24-25 budget for the completion of the projects listed in support totaling $738,099 operating and $593,194 in capital.
All right, okay, thank you. Councillor Tian.
Yeah, I can second that motion if you like. Is that you finished? Sorry.
Well, I'll just say point 2 that's also written here.
Yeah.
Oh.
Thank you.
I'll take it as written. That's what's written here.
Yeah. Got it.
Right.
Yeah. Good. It's as clear as mud. It's fine. Okay. So proposer, seconder, would you like to speak to the motion?
Oh, goodness.
Oh, no, I have nothing more to say.
Councillor T.
Yeah, I'd just like to say that obviously the question I raised before, that it has come down a lot, the carry forwards, which is really pleasing to see. I know it's been the last 4 years, it's been a struggle with COVID, with with staffing and with wet weather and everything. And we always thought we were going to get there and get most of the stuff done, and it's happened. So it's really good to see that there's not a significant amount of carry forward. Congratulations to the finance team, to everyone who's completed these projects. So well done.
Any other councillor want to speak to the motion? Councillor Webb.
Thanks, Mr. Mayor. Agree with what Councillor Hand said. It's been a huge effort to get through. I think we've moved through some very large projects as well last financial year, which probably explains that change in the number, and also sort of reflective of the funding environment going forward. We know there's going to be less grants moving forward from state government for infrastructure, so it's good to see that number back in check a little bit. It's a double-edged sword, I think. Thanks, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Well, in that case, vote on the motion. All those in favour of the motion? Motion is carried. Thank you, James and Petit. Thank you very much. Item
Thank you.
13. Council meeting resolution actions status register. Councillor Holcomb.
Council received a note, the Mansfield Shire Council meeting resolution actions status register is at 9th of October 24.
You seconder, Councillor Webb. All those in favour of the motion? Motion is carried. Item 14.1, Ordinaries Committee meeting agenda and minutes. Is any councillor?
No.
Yep. Councillor Holcomb.
The council received the agenda minutes of the additional Mansfield Shire Audit Risk Committee meeting held 16th of September 24.
Thank you. Seconder, Councillor Webb. You want to speak to the motion? Anyone want to speak against the motion? Put the motion to a vote. All those in favour? Authorisation of sealing of documents. There are nil. And that brings me to item 16, the close of the meeting at 17:29. Thank you very much, everybody, for watching. And we'll be back, as I said, on Wednesday, 0900, next Wednesday, for a special meeting to discuss the annual report. Thanks,
Mr.
everyone.
Mayor, would it be all right if I just said a few words
Absolutely.
about some retiring councillors?
Absolutely. Well, I will not close the meeting.
I wouldn't mind you closing it.
Wish people
Well,
could tell me. It would have
I think
been
it'd
good.
be
Yeah, go for it.
it'd be a remiss if we didn't just acknowledge the work of a couple of the councillors over the last or two who are retiring. Councillor Holcomb on my left has done a fabulous job in the 4 years. When we go back a while, and I know Councillor Holcomb myself have been pretty involved with outside of council, knocking on the door and asking questions and doing things. And it took me a lot to get him to stand, but I'm very glad that I did. I'm very glad that he did. One of the things that sticks in my mind was about 6 years ago when the previous council were debating whether they should get rid of the lollipop ladies, and we just thought, gee, what's this come to? And things were really crooked financially, and because of this guy on my left who's come in, I think things have changed a lot. So I'd just like to recognise that. He's done a lot of work. He's got a lot of experience, and he'll be sorely missed, I think, in the next council meeting. I'd also like to acknowledge Councillor Sladden, who's not here. He obviously has been council for 12 years. We haven't always seen eye to eye, myself and Councillor Sladden, in the last 4 years, but I would not question his work capacity to work. He's very good in terms of his diligence and his ability to get across all the issues and read everything. And it's really important that with a council this size that you have everyone contributing. So Councillor Sladden, as we know, is crook, and we wish him well and a recovery, but we do know he's retiring. So yeah, so if I could just say those few words and thank both of them very much for their contribution.
Thanks, councillor Teahan.
Thank you, Councillor.
My apologies for rushing in to close that meeting. I should have thought about this. Does anyone else want to?
Yeah,
So, Councillor Holman.
yeah. I'd just like to thank the executive for the assistance and help, advice that you've given me over the last 4 years. And I think by far, by a very, very long way, the executive team that's in place here is head and shoulders above anything that we've witnessed over the last 15 years and of us looking at council. And it's with a great deal of satisfaction that certainly I'm finishing knowing that the executive team that is in place will take this to another level again. So so thank you for all your help in doing that. And although we were an all-male council and were criticised for being an all-male, not that it was any of our fault at all, we did have a fully female executive for quite a while, and I think we worked extremely well together to so thank you very much.
Thank you. And if I could say through the mayor, to yourself, Councillor Holcomb, and to Councillor Sladden in his absence, on behalf of our council team, it's been a real pleasure, and we've enjoyed working with you. And yeah, sorry to see you go.
Thank you.
So with that, Councillor Holcomb, we'll close the meeting.
Please.
You can.
I declare the meeting closed.
Thank you.
Thanks for
Thank you, Deputy Mayor.
privilege. Yeah.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.
All right.
I was going to do it next meeting.
Well done. Thank